Hello, everyone, and welcome to our weekly Emmy talks, whatever number. I haven't posted anything yet, so one or two. I'm Jack, and I'm joined by three other people this week, surprisingly, to talk about the drama category series at this year's Emmys. Lots to talk about there. I'm joined by Yutaka,
Hello.
Antony,
Hey everyone.
and Ben.
Hello.
Okay, and I think I'm going to do with every week, before we get into the drama category, what have you guys been watching on TV lately? Let's go around. Let's start. I'll say I just finished Outer Range, and I think it's a really good show. Everyone should watch it. How about you, Yutaka?
I just finished The Baby, but not all of those episodes have been released. But I did just finish it.
Nice. Antony?
In the midst of finals season, I've been trying to
I just escaped that.
put education first, which is
That's smart.
trying. And
Priorities.
yeah, so I've been catching up with Moon Knight because I saved that. I did not watch that live, so I've been catching up with that show. And then I have a bunch lined up. I have Hacks, Flight Attendant, a lot that I'm looking forward to. But like Ben, I'm going to start my Stranger Things rewatch because, of course, we have the fourth volume one of the fourth season, and I always love a rewatch of that show before. So I should be watching new things, but I'll inevitably be watching old reruns of Stranger Things and Friends. That's just how it rolls with Antony Post.
Nice. I should mention I did also watch. I started season 2 of Hacks, and it is good so far. So far, it's very good. How about you, Ben?
I also I'm not in college or college finals, but I do have exams coming up, and I've been pretending to try and focus on those for a little bit, so I haven't been watching a lot. I haven't finished Moon Knight yet, and I'm not really enjoying it, so that's something I'm not a fan of. I am, however, a big fan of Dollface. Does anyone know that show? The Kat Dennings show?
Yeah, it got canceled.
It got cancelled?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's horrible news because I love that show a lot.
Sorry.
It's good. It's a nice little funny show that I have been really enjoying. So I've been watching that at the minute, as well as just rewatching It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, my favorite show of all time.
Nice.
I feel like Ben is the eternal champion of the underdog of all the shows and films that unfortunately get maligned or get get canceled, and Ben is always just Rhythm Section and Malignant. He's there to support them.
Rhythm Section.
But that's a good. Well, no, Dollface did get season 2, so I'm happy we got a season 2. We're not going to get season 3, and that's totally fine. Maybe it ends nicely. I hope it does.
Nice. Well, speaking of underdogs, let's see what underdogs people have picked in the drama series. I guess I can start off with my 8 first. I'm not super confident in this, but at my number 1, I have Succession. I think that's probably going to win. Number 2, I have my favorite show, Severance. Then 3, I've got Squid Game. 4, I've got Ozark. 5, Euphoria. 6, Yellowstone. 7, Better Call Saul. And 8, as I've mentioned to Yutaka before, I have Obi-Wan Kenobi. I think it's got a shot. Mandalorian got in.
And we have confirmation that it's a drama series and not a limited series.
For some reason, that's where it is on Gold Derby. I think it could also fit into limited series, but they've also hinted towards a season 2, so I don't know. If it's not there, then I'll figure something else to put in there. If it's in limited series, I think it definitely gets in. How about you, Yutaka? What do you have for your drama series 8?
1, I also think Succession will win. 2, I'm going to go Squid Game. 3, I'm going to go, I would like to say Yellow Jackets. We'll see where the hype is. 4, Ozark. 5, Better Call Saul. 6, Euphoria. And 7, Severance. And 8, I don't want to say it because I'm just not sure. So I'll go with This Is Us since it's ending.
Nice. I have just updated Gold Derby, and they removed Kenobi for me, I guess. So I will be filling that 8th spot somewhere else. So, Antony, what do you have for your 8?
So I think it's interesting because you always wonder when we get a final season, will the Emmys rally behind it as a way to support the show, or will they kind of they'd be like, well, you had your heyday. Is this a Fleabag scenario where they see this is the last chance, or a Modern Family scenario where they feel like we've given you your just desserts?
Yeah.
Thank you for your time. So I think it's interesting with This Is Us, of course, ending, Ozark ending, that very different type of shows. One more melodramatic and emotional, the other one being more plotty and a crime drama. How the Emmys will respond, if I imagine they'll cancel each other out in terms of a win. So I'm not going to put them either one at number one. I do have Succession at one. I think this is the new Game of Thrones. It's just the one that I think is going to win every year. It's going to be at the top. I think HBO doesn't have a lot of competition with other shows. I feel like I don't think, maybe Euphoria, I think, is the only other HBO show that's competing against it in this category. So I think it helps that, we've always talked about this with Netflix in the Oscars, but I think the same applies here, that they have so many campaigns to run that it's just going to lessen all of them. And I think that will hurt Ozark and Squid Game, which are my number 2 and number 3. Squid Game above it, because I think it's more of its time. I feel like there's more energy to honor this, lightning in a bottle type of show. Then I have Severance, because I think there's a lot of talk around that show. Apple TV Plus has been proven to really mount a stellar campaign. And a lot of people, I think this could be a great discovery post nominations, which could help that film. Or that show. I'm so used to talking about films on this show. Then I have Better Call Saul, the Breaking Bad dynasty. You don't bet against it. I then have Yellowstone. I think for fans, I think the people who love Yellowstone really love Yellowstone. I think that will show up here. I then have Euphoria, because I think that show just managed to be I think it was funny. I think the 3 years in between really helped build the awareness of that show, and it just exploded. And after Zendaya's kind of shocking win, I think the show has a little bit more credibility to it than your average teen drama. And then I'm going to throw in Stranger Things over Yellow Jackets for the 8th position, because I think even though word of mouth on Yellow Jackets has been really strong, I think that it is a little underseen. It's a genre show. It kind of maybe follows the trajectory of The Boys, how that didn't really get on the radar of the Emmys until later. Where I think Stranger Things, like you look at Stranger Things 3, that came out July 4th of 2019, almost a year, like right at the start of the season, and it was still remembered the following year for Best Drama Series, beating out people like The Morning Show, which a lot of people expected to see in there. So I think it's always a solid bet, because there is such passion for that show. And from what we've heard, rumors-wise, it's the boldest, biggest season. And I think even though it's going to be cut in half, because I believe only Volume 1 will be in contention, I still think there's a chance for it to be strong, unless, again, people are just waiting to honor the full season. Later, that could be something like we just mentioned with Obi-Wan Kenobi. The rules might change after we do this video. But in the moment, if I'm picking between two genre shows, I'm going to go with the established Stranger Things.
That was a good argument for my 8th spot there. How about you, Ben? What do you have as your 8 in drama series?
I understand everything that Antony said, but number 1 for me is Ozark. 100,000%. I am behind that show to win. Not as good as season 3, in my opinion, season 4, but still probably my second favorite season. I was very, very happy with season 4 of Ozark. Then number 2, a show I still haven't watched. I'm so ashamed of myself, Succession.
Wow.
But I know that is a great show and people really love it. Then I really think that Better Call Saul has a great shot because it's ending. So I'm not really sure, like, are there going to be more Breaking Bad stuff? I really hope not, because it's kind of been done to death at this point. So I think now is the last time. There's a good argument for it to win. Number 4, Squid Game, 100%. That show is amazing. Everyone loves it. And it would also be another really great opportunity to recognize something different, but at the same time, it probably won't win. Number 5, Euphoria. I think that show really exploded. Again, another one I haven't watched, and I'm ashamed of myself, but I'll probably get to it eventually. Then Yellowstone, which I adored. I thought it was great. I really, really enjoyed that. And I'm going to throw in two at the end. I'm going to say Yellow Jackets and Stranger Things. Because why not? It'll be fun. And Yellow Jackets is amazing. Like, so freaking good.
That's what I need to watch. I still need to check that one out. But I think I'm gonna put in my 8th spot. I guess I'll go with Stranger Things, just cause I mean they spent $30 million on each episode, so it better be good.
Yeah, I think the reason why maybe more isn't being talked about Stranger Things is just because most people haven't seen it yet. I think once people see it, we might see a surge in people's predictions for it. Yeah. And I love that Ben picked Ozark as number 1 because I too I love this show. I really enjoyed the last season. I do worry though because it's never been the Emmys' favorite. Like they've never really given it its due. I mean, the fact that Laura Linney has never won for her performance speaks to, I think, a misunderstanding that the Emmy voters have for this show. Tom Pelphrey didn't even get nominated for his performance. So like that's my thing is besides Julia Garner, which we'll get to, I don't think Ozark as a in totality has ever been accepted by the Emmys, and I'm not sure this is going to be the year that they do it.
Yeah. I hope
Another
it is.
show I haven't seen. Yes.
Wait, what?
I haven't seen it. Sorry, I've seen the first 8 episodes, but
and they're really bad and boring. When I watched Ozark, it took me 3 months to even get into it because it was during the pandemic, and I'd watch 10 minutes and I get so bored, and then I turn it off. Season 1's not that good. You have to get through it. Then you're like, oh, this stuff's amazing. And then 3 months of trying pays off.
Okay, you've inspired me to try again. I will try again. Although
if
my
you're
parents
not on
have
board, if you're not on board with the twist in the final episode of season 1, then you're not going to get it. But if you get to that moment and you're in, then you're in. As I was, I think Ben was as well. Yutaka, I don't know. Have you seen Ozark?
It wasn't my thing.
Okay.
I tried really hard, but it's also funny because literally Ozark is maybe 50 minutes west of me. So, and I'm like, it's not like that. Yeah, I'm like, you guys are making a little bit of that, but I tried, I really did. And it's a shame because I love Laura Linney. But yeah, just not my cup of tea.
I will say not only is this room probably, similar to maybe Emmy voters in terms of it's not for everybody. I do think there is something to be said about the fact that this show does, by the end of it, become what if Walter White was a woman type of mentality. It's a crime drama where the woman is kind of the powerful in control. Mm-hmm. And I think we saw with how Game of Thrones season 8 went and the reaction to that. I think television and media in general is having a difficulty. And the audiences are having a difficulty responding to powerful women sometimes being depicted as crazy. We just saw that with Multiverse of Madness in a way too. So that also could impede on Ozark's success. It's just people's relatability and their enjoyment in watching this sort of show. We love watching a man go crazy and be, so powerful, but we're having difficulty doing the same thing with female characters, which is another facet to this conversation.
Yeah, indeed. I'm still sticking with the Succession one. I don't believe that they've ever won at the Emmys series. I don't believe. They won for season 2.
Yeah, season 1 they lost to Game of Thrones season 8, but
that's
they won.
What I was thinking of. Okay, well I think they're going to win again.
That's a rough one to lose to.
That is.
Jesus Christ.
It's the power of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see Squid Game. But I have a feeling we'll see that more of that in the acting category. I think Succession this past season was so good. Yeah. So I would stick with that. I'm a little hurt to hear all that about the Yellow Jackets. I would think it's higher. And I'm only giving that because there is also a higher chance in terms of Melanie Linsky getting nominated and maybe also Christina Ricci. So I feel like there's kind of a bit more momentum. I think the problem was, though, it came out in a sense kind of so long ago. Yeah. But I'm sure as, the Emmy campaigns start to ramp up, you will see Yellow Jackets come back.
Yes.
I don't know in terms of winning, but I could see it moving up in people's minds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What network is behind that show again?
Showtime.
Okay. Okay.
And they
It still
desperately
exists.
need something.
It does exist. They do need something, definitely.
Or maybe
I can't-
Emmy voters get confused. They put Yellowstone and like we already did that Yellow show, and then they move on, and then
True.
I mean, they're
Only room for
two
one
different
yellow.
genres. And I mean, I'm sure Stranger Things season 4 is going to be amazing. Like you said, all that money.
yeah.
I don't
And
know. The last season wasn't great to me. So
But it got in. It got in.
It did.
It was when I first watched it. It's
did.
because I watched it in a day, and I was like, "Damn, this shit's great." And now I'm breaking it up, and it's going very slow, really
And
slow.
the other thing too is that like Stranger Things, like even though it'll be half the season, these episodes are much longer, so it might actually equate to some of these seasons' lengths in the past and the ones that it's competing to too. So it's I don't think
that's true.
that could also help it. Is that it's a different type of season because these episodes are so long. Potentially, we have to see how long they actually are.
Now going on to the drama actress category, where I think it's a race between two people. I've got in my number one still Zendaya for Euphoria, season 2. I think her performance this season was even better than the first season. In particular, they always have to send one episode for their performance. Episode 5, where she like killed it. That episode, really good. I can't speak to the runner-up, who I think these two are fighting, Laura Linney and Ozark. She hasn't won for this yet, and people say she's amazing in the show, so definitely has a shot. I don't think anyone else has a shot at winning, so I've got Jennifer Aniston in the morning show, Melanie Linsky, the Yellow Jackets. I'm not sure about it. Jodie Comer for Killing Eve, maybe. That show was not well received this past season. And then my last spot, I put Carrie Coon for Gilded Age. But I'm actually, I'm going to put Britt Lauer for Severance, just because I love her so much in that show. So, how about you, Yutaka? What have you got?
I think we're agreed on the number one spot. That episode 5. If they don't submit that for her Emmys, I would be just dumbfounded. I think, then Laura Linney, Ozark. I think she could be the dark horse because, again, how has she not won? But I would like to see Melanie Linsky win because I love Yellow Jackets that much. I think Jodie Comer and Sandra Oh, they're going to cancel each other out. And it wasn't the best Indian season. I know they say Jennifer Aniston, but who remembers the morning show from so long ago? I'm going to go with Mandy Moore, This Is Us. Don't think she has a shot at winning, but again, final season. And I would also go with Carrie Coon, Gilded Age.
Nice.
How about you, Antony?
Well, first off, I want to talk about Jennifer Aniston because as somebody who did watch the morning show, it's funny. I'm very mixed on the performance because there's some things where I'm very interested to see what episode they submit for her. Because there's an episode where it's basically just her and Steve Carell having a dialogue the whole time. And it's just, you're not only reminded of how good she is, but you see how much she's holding that show in the palm of her hands. And if there was a lesser actor at the center, man, does that thing fall apart. So she is extraordinarily talented. And I think a lot of people are seeing a new side of her. Everybody just considered her, Rachel, or she was just the hair. And now she's, this very dynamite dramatic actor. But I think what also, and this is slight spoilers for the end of season 2, for the morning show, they give the character COVID, and seeing her reenact that last fall was very uncomfortable for me. And I imagine it could be for other people, just seeing this actor act out like being in her shower, shivering. It was just, for me, it was a little too soon to be taking this show that feels like cookie dough ice cream, and now you're injecting it with this realism of COVID. Which is why I think none of us are considering it for best drama series, because it's just such a mishmash. So it's tough. I still think she gets in because I think when she's strong, she's very strong, but I don't think she's in contention to win. I think she would have needed to win for the season 1 to be in contention for this. So she's in my third position. I agree that it's the 1 and 2 is Zendaya and Laura Linney. And I really am caught because I think if you're sending one episode and you're judging one episode, I think Zendaya probably makes the bigger impact. if they submit that 5th episode, which I assume they will, when she's running all around town. But Laura Linney, I think overall, and I think Ben agrees with this, for a performance for the entire season, I think Laura Linney is a much more interesting performance. It's a performance that we haven't already awarded, where we did award Zendaya for a very similar thing, you know, because she won for the 3rd episode of season 1 for Euphoria, which is when she was banging on Fez's door and she was like, I need the drugs. And so it's a very similar thing that we would be awarding the second time. It's not like what I feel will be happen with like Jason Sudeikis, where like the first season is his optimistic self and it was just so infectious, and then the second season, which, and we're not talking about comedy, but he'll probably win, or at least he has a good shot, where we got into more like his father died and like there's a different shadings to this performance, where Zendaya feels like the same thing. So it's tough for me to put her at 1 because like,
but it also had the Jolly Rancher scene. Like, that was heartbreaking.
I feel like she was in an even worse spot this season than she was in the first. I think it was much more intense. I think it's the same situation, like the same thing she's playing, but I think she played it much more intensely this season. But I could see people being like, especially since she's so young, like maybe we did. And there's going to be more seasons, unlike there's going to be with Ozark. Maybe it's not her time. But
yeah, I don't know. It just, to me, and maybe this is my own personal reaction to the show, like I always saw acting. It always felt to me like I was watching a For Your Consideration reel when I was watching Zendaya do these performances. And for Laura Linney, I was like, oh, that's a character. Like that like I'm watching Wendy Bird. I didn't really see Laura Linney. So again, that might be my own personal experiences with these performances coloring it. But I am going to put Laura Linney. I think that this may be a Phoebe Waller-Bridge. They're going to honor the work overall. And I think Ozark will get a bump overall this season from it being the final season. I don't think it will overtake Succession and drama series, but this might be where it comes through, especially because Sarah Snook, who we're going to talk about, is probably going to be in supporting actress. And I think she's going to give Julia Garner a run for her money. And I think some people may be like, oh, this is where we can honor Ozark, is with Laura Linney. So I'm going to put Laura Linney at 1, Zendaya at 2, Jennifer Aniston at 3, Melanie Linsky at 4. She's a very passionate pick, as Yutaka's mentioned. I think a lot of people really love her, really respect her. Kind of similar to what happened when Allison Janney was up for Best Supporting Actress for I, Tonya. I think there's just a lot of love for the actor and all the great work they've done in their career. And then I'm going to put Carrie Coon. It's similar to Melanie Linsky, I feel. Very beloved actor who's done a lot of great yeoman's work in the background, taking a spotlight in The Gilded Age. And then it's tough because I feel like when you get problematic seasons, very rarely do you blame the actors for that. So Killing Eve, I'm like, are they really going to blame Jodie Comer for what happened with season 4 and the mixed reaction? I haven't seen the show, so I can't speak to the dip in quality and whether that is attributable to the actors. I don't imagine it is. So I think...
We were just talking about Game of Thrones, which won a bunch of Emmys and it's disappointing.
Yes, but it got a lot of actors in there. None of them won, though. So,
they split that vote.
Yeah.
In the final season?
Yeah, final season.
I believe so, yeah.
The only actor who won was Peter Dinklage.
As always, yeah.
So that's why I still think there's a lot more love for Killing Eve over This Is Us. Because Mandy has made me more like, she wasn't like a Sterling K. Brown where she was like getting nominated every year too. So
I don't know if I think a few years she might not have been, but it's definitely to think about where she came from as an actress. You know, when we all saw her as a pop star growing up, or me growing up. But then as she started to take more serious gigs, like you can see the evolution of her craft. So I don't think she'll win by any means, but I would see a nom. And this season they're doing the whole Alzheimer's, and pretty sure like it's her character's spoiler. I don't think she'll make it out of the season, but
so I think I'm gonna go with Yutaka's argument that Comer and O cancel each other out for a mixed season overall. Game of Thrones, I think, was helped just because of the cultural resonance. I think that's why it was able to stick around. And also, debating whatever you thought about the writing, the craft, the way that this whole season shot, scored,
Yeah.
like the craft of
Oh,
it,
yeah.
impeccable. So I think that also helped it. I don't think the same can be said about Killing Eve. So I will go, yes. So final, Laura Linney, Zendaya, Aniston, Melanie Linsky, Carrie Coon, Mandy Moore. That'll be my lineup.
Yes. Mandy Moore has been nominated once for This Is Us, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Oh,
nice.
that's I really see this being her season to like get at least noms.
Yeah.
If a win would be nice, but it's been a whole season.
Nobody watches network television anymore, so
No,
it's
don't.
hard.
Yeah. Sorry. Yutaka will be our resident network television.
I can tell you, if we were to talk like Law and Order, I've seen every single episode, and if it were SVU, I've seen at least each episode twice, if not 3 times.
Oh, let me just, before I throw to Ben, because I'm just looking at like the rank, like their Gold Derbies like list of everybody. Where would Millie Bobby Brown figure into this if she was a contender? Would she be supporting or would she be lead at this point?
It would depend on how the season plays out, I think. Like if she's going to be the main spotlight or if they're going to focus more on the kids back in whatever the town's called.
They have her in supporting currently, but I feel like that's like at some point we got to do the Amelia Clark thing where it's like, sorry, you're the lead, you're going to lead, and then Winona Ryder can be in her proper category. So
I don't think she'll get in either way, to be honest.
Yeah, that would be a...
Yeah. But Ben, who do you have at number 1, I wonder?
So I found it very hard to sort of come up with a list. So I have 3 definites.
Okay.
I'm not really sure about the rest. So number 1, in my opinion, same as last time this happened, I'm going with Laura Linney. Because you're not just awarding the performance of this season. I think you're truly... when you watch this season, you're awarding the evolution of the character of Wendy Bird, which has just a huge character arc from season 1, episode 1 to the very end of season 4. And in season 4 in particular, the way this evil bitch is just amazing. She is the best. She is the coolest person ever. You know the scene with Darlene at the car, Antony?
Oh, when he like yells so much that she gives Darlene a heart attack. That's when I figured like, oh, she's got this Emmy.
Yeah. Yeah, I watched that last night and I was just, Jesus Christ, this like 100%. So I would love to see her win. I'm a huge Laura Linney fan. She really deserves this. And Zendaya will win again for Euphoria season 3, 4, 5, 6, however many they do. So I'm going to go with Laura Linney, then Zendaya. And after that, I only really have Jennifer Aniston. Like, I really do think that she's just someone that's always going to get nominated for this show. As much as I would like the show to sort of go away, it never does. The fact that I got nominated the first time around really sort of shocked me. So I'm going to keep her in, although I do like her a lot. So I'm happy about that. But the rest, I have no idea. I really have no idea. I think it's really open.
Yeah. None of them will win anyways. It's a 2-horse race, I believe.
Yeah.
One more just possibility, just so we can mention it, just because we know the Emmys love Nicole Kidman, and they just recently announced 9 Perfect Strangers is going to be renewed. So this might be because people were putting her in. I believe so. I believe they just said it's going to be, they're going to do the 13 Reasons Why of now we're doing a second season, or Big Little Lies, to keep it with Kidman. So do we think because people, you know, obviously people aren't predicting her in this category because they didn't know it was going to get a second season. Could she fill in that 6th spot because she's just such a she's a brand herself?
Have you seen the show?
I think so.
I have not seen 9 Perfect Strangers.
Okay.
Is she good in it?
No, like so many. I mean, just watch the first episode and hear her accent, and you're already gonna be like, no.
Oh, okay.
It was. It made me think of a certain movie that you know, but
How so Gucci, yeah.
the accent wasn't good, and a lot of people were like, ooh, I don't know.
What accent was she doing?
I believe it was Russian.
Oh, ooh.
I believe. I'm not sure. It's been a while. I finished the season. Just it wasn't a good show, and the only reason I kept watching wasn't even for her. So I don't know. Not even for her, actually.
I liked her. That's just because I like her, to be honest, but I'm biased.
I think Regina Hall was who I was watching for. She did really good.
Always Regina Hall. Best Oscar host as well, I add. The other two were
So
irrelevant.
yeah, I don't know on Nicole Kidman. It would be interesting. Oh God, I can't believe that's getting renewed.
Yeah, Hollywood Reporter reported a season 2 renewal deal about a day ago. So, yeah, just to throw it out there, because again, I think this 6th spot is just like it's whoever's going to get it is it's just going to be a toe over the finish line to get that nomination. I feel
Definitely. But this next category is very tough. Best drama actor. I think we all will have the same top 3. My number 1 is where I think we'll all differentiate. My number 1, I still have Brian Cox for Succession. I think he killed it this season. And I don't know, he's always a standout. 2, I do have Jeremy Strong for Succession. I do worry about them canceling each other out like they did at SAG, which is where my number 3, Lee Jung-jae, Squid Game, would have the chance to sneak in and win. He will also, as I mentioned before, have a movie coming out at Cannes, which he starred in and directed, which will also have some buzz for his name up in the air. 4, I have Jason Bateman for Ozark. 5, Adam Scott for Severance. Great performance, great show. And my number 6, I mean, Bob Odenkirk didn't get in last time, so I don't think he will this time. Sterling K. Brown always gets in. I'm not going to put in Kevin Costner. So I'm going to plug a show that no one has seen and was really good, and a lead performance that was really good and very baity. Gary Oldman in Slow Horses.
interesting.
Yes, taking a little risks there. Well, we're far out. So how about you, Yutaka? How risky are you?
Well, I think because of the vote split, I do see Lee Jung-jae in number 1 for B because of that, because of the SAG, which I'm still very happy about. But I wouldn't mind also seeing Brian Cox because he was really good this last season. And then it would be Jeremy Strong. I think Jason Bateman, but has he ever won for this?
He's won for directing the season 2 opener.
Okay.
But he's never won for acting. Julia Garner has won for supporting actress for season 2 and 3.
Yeah.
And so far, the only actor to win.
I would say, I'd put Bateman. Odenkirk and actually Sterling K. Brown because final seasons. I don't think Adam Scott's going to make it this year, but I feel like he would next year.
Hopefully. Is this Better Call Saul's last season?
Yeah, I was about to say. So
okay.
We're in Better Call Saul's final season, but part 2 of the final season will not be eligible for this year. Okay. Part 2 is the finale is wrapping in August of 2022. Oh. So if you're thinking like Bob Odenkirk is going to get the push because it's the final, he'll still have next year to compete.
Oh, okay. Then
that's tricky.
I'm still going to go with that because I think, I'm going to still go with that.
Yeah, definitely.
If not, I would have moved in Kevin Costner because as much as Yellowstone is, it's a phenomenon right now. I mean, it's taking off.
It's good. Mm-hmm. Okay, it's good.
I'll take your word for it.
How about you, Antony?
Well, I agree. I think we're going to see the same thing happen that happened at the SAG, where Cox and Strong cancel each other out, and then Lee Jung-jae just goes in there. I think because with the two of them, they're so evenly matched. Like you could honestly, you should tie them in a way. They're like one can't work without the other in succession, and they're just so brilliant. And I think because we gave Jeremy Strong for season 2 his Emmy, I don't see the same urgency to give it to him for season 3. And I think with Brian Cox, he was fantastic, but I think there's a sense of because I think he won the Golden Globe, right?
He has not won for Succession, but he has won an Emmy for something else before.
Yeah, so I feel like Lee Jung-jae, it's this, especially because I don't think any of us think, right, that Squid Game is going to win Best Drama. No. This is, and we don't think that, unlike the SAG Awards, a female actress is not, unless we talk about supporting, but again, I think supporting actress is going to be very competitive. I don't see Squid Game getting a win in any of the major categories elsewhere, so I think this is where the Squid Game love is going to show up. Then I'll have Lee Jung-jae, And then Cox and Strong kind of tied essentially. I guess I'll put Cox above just because he hasn't won. But I mean, Strong in that last episode was so devastating. So it's hard for me to bet against him. Then fourth, Jason Bateman. I think he may fare better for directing for a drama series potentially because he directed the final episode. Though honestly, as much as I love that final episode that he directed, I think Laura Linney should be up for Best Director because she directed one of the episodes, including the episode with the car fight. So I think that was just exceptional. I would nominate her for that. If you can't tell from Ben and I, Laura Linney is the backbone of Ozark and deserves to be honored somewhere.
Yes.
So yes, fourth, I would go Jason Bateman. And then I'm going to go fifth, Sterling K. Brown, because he's a steady, he's a solid bet, especially for the final season. And then I'm going to go Kevin Costner because I think that so many people probably attribute Yellowstone's success to him. And like he's probably the reason a lot of people watch that show. I think he's a major force. And I think also he's due for something like this. Like he's done a lot of like great supporting performances in films like Hidden Figures. And like he's always somebody who like people like I think he is a respected person. He was a great Jonathan Kent in Man of Steel. So I think that I think there's a lot of support for him. Adam Scott would be my 7. But I think I think more of the support for Severance is going to be with Ben Stiller, the writing, the directing, the conceit of the show. And I think he needs, one more season to really stake out his own persona apart from Parks and Rec. And I think it'll take one more season, as Yutaka said. So, but I wouldn't count him out. I think I think Sterling K. Brown, Kevin Costner, Adam Scott, Bob Odenkirk, they're all jockeying for those last 2 positions. And you could logically see any of them there. Even John C. Reilly potentially for Winning Time, but I think HBO has other priorities.
Mm-hmm. Not Gary Oldman, no.
No, not Gary Oldman, but I'm keeping him there because he was good. How about you, Ben? What have you got?
So same top 4, but I do think this is probably the one place they'll be able to give Squid Game a major award. So I think that's going to win, but again, I haven't seen Succession, so it very well could be Brian Cox. It will not be Jason Bateman. I'm pretty confident about that because, again, Laura Linney and Julia Garner just sort of steal the show away from him. They always have, in my opinion. And that's the way it is. He shouldn't win. And I'm fine with that. Then I think Kevin Costner is going to get it. I really do. And I also think Sterling K. Brown will as well. As someone who hasn't seen This Is Us, from like 2018 when I started paying attention to all these shows, I always see his name for this show, and I don't see it being any different this time. So
yeah, especially since it's the final season. Yeah, makes sense. Also, quick sorry to Brian Cox, who I was rooting for to be cast as the Emperor in Dune. Christopher Walken took his spot, so tragic.
Well, Christopher Walken, he really needed a shot after all this time. I'm glad he's finally getting a chance to prove himself. So good luck, Mr. Walken.
Yes, we're rooting for you. Now drama supporting actress, where we've got 8 slots here. This is a crazy one. Okay. I guess I will take the burden of going first. So first, I'm really close here. I'm gonna say Sarah Snook for Succession, barely. Number 2, I do have Julia Garner for Ozark. My parents do spoil a lot of Ozark for me, which is why I'm also not super interested in continuing it because I feel like I know everything that happens. So there is something that happens with her that may increase her chances. Then I've got Jun Ho Young for Squid Game, who won at SAG. I do think the competition is too strong here for her to win, but you never know. Then I've got J. Smith Cameron for Succession, always a standout as Jerry. Christina Ricci for Yellow Jackets. I think Sydney Sweeney for Euphoria is going to get in because I think outside of Zendaya, she was the standout performance of that season. Then it gets tricky. Then I'm going to say Rhea Seehorn for Better Call Saul, just because I haven't seen the show. But yeah, that's really my only reasoning. And then last place, I'm going to stick with Yoo Jung-yoon for Pachinko just because she's a recent Oscar winner. And I'm rooting for that show to get something. So
good. Such a good show.
I'm watching it currently. And she's very good. I love her.
I am gonna go with Sarah Snook.
Yeah.
I truly think she's going to win, unless somehow her and J. Smith Cameron have a vote split again. Um, I
They're very
think
different performances. I don't see that happening.
Julia Garner's already won twice.
Yes.
So I'm going to put Jung Ho Yoon above her, but I do still think that's like your top four right there. I would then go with I'm going to go with Sydney Sweeney then in 5 because her performance this season was incredible. I would go with Christina Ricci then next, and then Rhea Seehorn. Oh, wait.
You do have one more spot, I believe.
And then Yoo Jung Yoon.
Yes. Yes.
I wish that show got more
I know.
love.
Apple's
but I think
prioritizing
Severance. Yeah. But hey, they renewed it, so I'm not mad.
Always a chance for season 2.
After the final episode of Euphoria this season, we need to cast Sydney Sweeney as Harley Quinn. That was when she was doing her, I can play the effing villain. I was like, that's Harley Quinn. That was her audition for that.
Instead, she's going to be in Madam Web.
Yeah.
What a choice.
I love Dakota Johnson. But
I love Dakota Johnson as well. I agree. She's great.
Yeah.
She did a funny thing where she came to speak at my school, and the guy introduces 50 Shades of Grey, being like, "So you were introduced as a college student who's introduced to BDSM," and she turns to the group and she's like, "Just like all of you young students out there." It's great. But so yeah, we'll see. Anyway, Snook and Garner. It's really tough, as Ben knows. Julia Garner maybe gives the best yell in television history at the end of part 1. But Sarah Snook doesn't have to yell because the final shot of season 3 is so good when she gives the most vicious side eye to a character who will remain nameless to not spoil. It's just I think we've honored Julia Garner. I think she's done amazing work throughout this entire show. And I think if my belief is that Laura Linney is going to be where Ozark gets an acting win, I don't see it happening twice because I don't even Game of Thrones couldn't ever get 2 acting wins at a time. I'm trying to remember, has there been a recent show that's ever done that? I can do the research when Ben gets his thing.
I mean, Schitt's Creek won everything.
But in comedy, I think it's easier in comedy because Modern Family did it a bunch of times. I think in drama, I don't think it's often that we see 2 performers from the same show win the same year. So that's why I think Laura Linney's going to take it for actress in my mind, and I think Sarah Snook will win here. It's a really complex performance that is so much fun, and you're so enthralled by her. I think she really commands this season, and again, that final scene just was some of the best acting ever on television for me, at least. So I'm gonna go Snook, Garner, Jung Ho Yoon, J. Smith Cameron. I think she'll ride the Succession, the SS Succession with the cast. Which is great for her because, of course, she started as a background character, and now she's a lead. I love when that happens and it's earned because actors love that. It's like when Gwendolyn Christie worked her way up to becoming such a dynamite person on Game of Thrones. A lot of Game of Thrones analysis today, but it comes in handy. I'm then going to go Sydney Sweeney. I think that a lot of people really love her. I think because we kind of knew Zendaya before this from Spider-Man and Greatest Showman, and if you're of a certain generation, Shake It Up on Disney Channel. I almost said Disney Plus. It's fun.
It's been a while.
I feel like Sydney Sweeney is kind of the breakout of this show. I think so many people now know her because of this role. So I'm going to go for her next. Then Christina Ricci. Then Juliana Margulies in the morning show. I think there's a lot of Good Wife fans. I think she does a nice job with the role. And Rhea Seehorn, the biggest award that she's gotten a nomination for, she hasn't won, is a Critics' Choice. She's never been nominated for an Emmy, Golden Globe. And I think I don't see that happening for her because this is, again, not the final chance she'll have. Maybe next year, but not this year. So I then am going to also, then my last position, I'm going to put Yoo Jung-yoon because you're an Oscar winner and this is the follow-up project. I think that does have some cachet and people love her. I mean, every stop of her Minari Awards run, she was, I mean, so many beautiful, wonderful speeches. So I think there's a lot of love for her, especially because Squid Game, of course, we're honoring, Parasite, and we've been honoring a lot of wonderful Asian talent. And, Yoo Jung-yoon has really made a name for herself in this industry. So, yeah, I think that's my 8. Rhea Seehorn, I think, would be a 9. Potential, we'll see if Better Call Saul can really land. But the fact that Odenkirk missed last season, like if Odenkirk is leaking, I don't see the supporting cast doing any major headway, especially because they've never done so before.
Yeah, I could see that.
I always feel like their support, well, at least I always felt like Giancarlo Esposito and Jonathan Banks always, maybe it's Golden Globes I'm thinking of.
Yeah, Giancarlo did.
Just say.
Giancarlo got in for a lot of Better Call Saul. He also got in for Mandalorian too, I think, crazily.
Yeah.
Or guest actor, I believe, in a drama series.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. For the first season, yeah. How about you, Ben? What do you've got in supporting actress?
So I had no idea when I made my notes. I just wrote down Julia Garner. So
valid.
Although I don't think she's going to win. She won 2 years in a row, and I think she gets better and better every time. Like if she won 3 years, like that would be amazing. I'd be so happy for her. But I don't think it's going to happen. I do think Sarah Snook would probably take it, which is great. Good for her. Then I would, just sort of going off of preference, I would really love to see Christina Ricci, who is just such a legend, and in that show as well. But she's been around for so long, and her career never really took off, which I think is a bit of a tragedy. Like she's not as much of a superstar as she absolutely should be. So I would love to see her. Like she won't win, but just for her to get nominated, and there'll be a season 2, so maybe she'll win next time. After that, I genuinely have no idea. Like I cannot. It's so like I'd love to see Yoo Jung-yoon, and that is a show that's on my list. And she's just a person I really like. Like just to see her at the Emmys would be amazing. But I do not have a clue, to be honest.
Yep. Yeah, I think it's really down between those few that you mentioned anyways, those top few. So
just a quick update. So I've been going through the past couple of years in drama series. Very rarely does it happen where we have 2 acting winners from the same show, except last year where The Crown swept everything. It's Creek style in its turn. But everything else, it seems that they're very democratic in terms of their making sure everybody gets a little part of the trophy. So
thank God we won't have that show this season.
Yeah. Michael K. Williams not winning last year was tragic.
Before the Crown sweep, the most recent time that happened was Elizabeth Moss and Anne Dowd both won for The Handmaid's Tale for its first season. So I feel like that's the other thing too, is we're a lot of these things were like Succession's in its 3rd season, Ozark in its 4th season, Euphoria in its 2nd season. So I think it's not like we're seeing these performances for the first time and there's a rush. That's Squid Game, I think, would be the only one that could pull it off. But I think up against this talent, I don't think we're going to see a SAG pattern happen here.
Now on to the last one, supporting actor, which is also called the Battle of the Succession Boys. I currently have Kieran Culkin at number 1, but I'm very tempted to put Matthew McFadden as my number 1. He's my number 2, both for Succession. Then I've got Billy Crudup for The Morning Show, just because he seems to be pretty well liked on that show and always get in. Then I've got Oh Young-soo for Squid Game, another standout amongst that cast. Nicholas Braun for Succession. Cousin Greg is always very funny. Giancarlo Esposito for Better Call Saul. The Emmys seem to really like him. John Turturro for Severance. This is one of his best performances, I think. He's incredible in the show. He's a standout, and I think he deserves that spot. And I'm tempted to put Alan Ruck, but I don't know if you're going to get 4 Succession people in there. I also don't know if you're going to get two Better Call Saul people in there, so I'm going with Eric Dane for Euphoria, who is pretty good this season, and he's also been on Grey's Anatomy forever. So
You
why
mean he
not?
was on?
He
Grey's
was,
Anatomy.
yeah.
We did get four, again, sorry. We got 4 Game of Thrones actresses in one category for the final season. Christie, Williams, Turner, and Heidi. So it's you could do it. Succession could pull it off. It's not uncommon
Yeah.
for them to own half the category. But of course, them pulling off a win is much more difficult, I feel. Of course,
That's
that year
true.
was the first Julia Garner win. She was able to knock out all
So
the Game of
mad.
Thrones actors.
I
I just
wanted
don't see
Christy
the-
to win that year because she even put all. That was her who got herself nominated.
Yeah.
Yeah,
she
it
had
was
campaign.
it was so difficult because I had not seen Ozark when that Emmy thing happened. So of course Julia Garner, I think, gave the best performance probably of that category. So it was very deserving. But there's a part of me that's like, well, Christy was I think she was the best supporting performance. But then like the fact that Lena Headey went that entire run and never got an Emmy, like it really
That's
hurt me. So it's that was a tough year.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. I just don't see the competition for who would beat one of the Succession people here per se. But
Yeah, you're 100% right.
how about you, Yutaka? What have you got in supporting actor?
I am switching up the top two because I also really just want Matthew McFadden
I want it
to
so
win.
bad, yeah.
I really do. So I'm going to put him at number 1 because I still think there's a good push for him, even though if not, it would be Kieran Culkin. I think those two are constantly, I think, in my mind, going to keep going back and forth, but I want Matthew McFadden to win. There is buzz for Billy Crudup. I just find it interesting because Morning Show ended so long ago, and there's just so much new stuff that's been coming out that I feel is just like more people are talking about. However, again, I do think it's going to be a lot of Succession people. So then Oh Young-soo, I think Nicholas Braun, even though his character got on my last good fucking nerve this season. And I do think it's going to be, I would say Giancarlo Esposito and Jonathan Banks. I don't think Alan Ruck, even though he did give a really good performance. I would say John Turturro, even though you know my thoughts on Severance.
Boo. Best show this year. How about you, Antony?
This is the thing. I'm going to make a Marvel analogy here. Matthew McFadden, I think, is your Natasha Romanoff. It's the steady weight that's been there the entire time. But Kieran Culkin is your Wanda, who just captured the audience's hearts in a way that is so rare. And I think I'm going to put him 1 just because I think that there's more enthusiasm and just the fan response to Succession is more towards Culkin. As much as I would love McFadden to win, because I think he gives a more nuanced performance. And it's more layered that I think when you go back and rewatch the season, knowing the end, there's definitely so many more complexities of that performance. Culkin is fun, and he's great, and he's just so energetic that I think you just remember him more in a way, I feel.
He's also got a clear episode to submit, in my opinion. I think McFadden is better throughout, but I think Culkin's got that one standout episode.
It's the Zendaya Laura Linney thing. I feel the same thing.
Do they look at like the TV BAFTAs or anything like that? Since I know Matthew just won one for Succession, I believe.
Maybe, but I know that's probably also a British bias factor.
Yeah,
sure, but
advantage.
I just saying, I don't know if any of the Succession folks have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
That's my analogy. I think that as much as I think Matthew maybe deserves it in my heart, I think Culkin is capturing the energy and like there's just so many people love him. And so I'm going to put him at 1, Matthew 2, and I think Matthew could get it for season 4 too. Then Crudup, he won last year. I think that, or he won for season 1 of the morning show. I forget that was not last year, but he won for season 1. That's why I'm putting him at 3. The Squid Game actor at 4, Nicholas Braun at 5, John Turturro at 6, and then I'm going to do, and then the 2 Better Call Saul guys. I don't think Alan Ruck has enough to get him in there.
So how about you, Ben? What do you have for Best Supporting Actor drama?
Well, my top 5 is the Battle of the S's. For Succession
Yes.
boys, I think they're all gonna get it, and I think Kieran Culkin's gonna win, no question.
Okay.
Just from like the buzz, like I just see a
Yeah.
lot more people. As someone who doesn't watch the show, like an outsider looking in, I see a lot of people talking about him. And then I think Squid Game, I would love to see him win, but I don't think it's going to happen, unfortunately. And then I think Giancarlo Esposito, because he always gets it, and look, he deserves it. He's a very, very good actor who deserves. Has he ever won anything? Because he deserves to.
Probably. I would hope
Maybe he
so.
has at least an Emmy or a Globe.
Yeah. He'll get an Oscar
Yeah.
someday, maybe. Billy Crudup.
He's
100%.
earned 3 nominations, Giancarlo Esposito, for Best Supporting Actor in a Drama Series, but I do not believe he's ever won.
Oh wow. He
He
needs.
won a Critics' Choice Supporting Actor in a Drama. That's his highest
Wow.
award. He's, I believe.
That's
It's a
insane.
tragedy.
And he won it for Breaking Bad, not Better Call Saul. Yeah, yep, that's his
He
biggest.
was so good in Breaking Bad.
He was the best in Breaking Bad. That's shocking.
I mean, Ben, I think it's the Tom Hanks thing where it's like you're so consistently good that it's hard then to make the claim that you're like it's hard for them people to break the thing. Oh, you're especially good for this. We got to award you. I imagine that's.
I
what
never
it's like
even
for him.
Well, they
thought
do
of
it with
that.
Meryl Streep all the fucking time.
They do with her. Yeah.
Like, for God's sake. I mean,
Hey,
they stopped
hey,
doing
if
To
he
the
doesn't-
woods.
If she doesn't win this year, if she doesn't get nominated, I think this year or next year, this will be the longest she goes without a nomination in her career. So
Olivia
Wow.
Colman's taking her spot.
exactly,
Yeah.
deservedly so.
Well,
I mean, no
I
shade to Meryl,
need-
but Olivia Colman is
Meryl
fantastic.
Streep just needs to pull a Candice Bergen and remove herself from being nominated. That's what that woman did, and I appreciate
Yeah.
her for doing that. Granted, it
Yeah.
was the Emmys and not the Oscars, but she's like, I've won enough. Let's let other people get a shot. I don't think Meryl would do
Olivia
that,
Colman in my
even though I
veins.
love Meryl with all my heart.
No, not Meryl. It's Olivia Colman for life now. And I need that
Frances
movie.
does that too. Frances
That-
McDormand pulls herself out of running. She's like, put me an actress so I know I won't get the nomination.
Yeah. She doesn't campaign at all. She didn't even show up to the ceremony this year. She was supposed to present Best Actor, but
Why does she not show up to events anymore?
she's too
I think
chill.
that's never been her thing. She thinks the
No.
work stands for itself. But
Yeah.
she's still, she's going to be gracious if they award her.
Yeah.
so,
Well, that's fair. I was just wondering.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it's anything political reason or there's some grudge. I think that's just not why she does it. But she doesn't like, I think somebody, Adele Hernell, I think maybe, probably butchering that name, like is saying she's leaving the film industry because it's patriarchal and it's
I
like,
saw that.
yeah, so it's like I don't think Frances McDormand is like that. I think she acknowledges the faults in the industry and just says, "Listen, we're going to work with them and we're going to do good work and we're going to try our best." And I think she sees the Oscars as like, "Listen, it's getting awareness for the projects, so there is a benefit to them, even if I'm not going to do the whole go on Jimmy Fallon, which I would never do regardless. But just because I want to win an award, I'm going to go play, Box of Lies or do carpool karaoke with James Corden." It's like she just doesn't do that, and I respect her for
Looks
it.
fun.
But I don't
No
I
more
don't
Corden
disrespect
after
people
this
like Eddie
year.
Redmayne who do it and they have fun doing it.
But it does
Yeah.
work. I mean, I would argue that Jodie Foster going on to, I think, Jimmy Kimmel for like 8 minutes won her that Golden Globe for the Martin Taken. I will always say that.
Eddie Redmayne beating Michael Keaton, that is definitely an awards campaign.
Yes. Yes.
I'm still very, very salty about that.
Mm-hmm.
I think we all are. And, you know,
Hey, he's going to win for Dope Sick. We'll talk
This
about
is
limited
true.
series
We
future
will.
episode on that.
Yes.
Yes.
So
and I'll talk about Midnight Mass in that same episode.
God.
And how it's going to
Yeah.
get neglected. It'll be great. But other
That's
than
so
that,
sad.
yeah, that is me for supporting actor.
Yeah. Okay. I also just want to quickly mention, I forgot because she's not on Gold Derby, but I'm kicking out Rhea Seehorn from supporting actress with Patricia Arquette for Succession, who is incredible in that show. I think she will
sure,
get it.
okay.
You mean for Severance?
Oh, Severance. Yeah, not Succession. It's the S's. Severance. Yeah.
I was like, Jason, it was like, for a second, I imagined Patricia Arquette playing J. Smith Cameron's role. I was like,
That would be
what
very
that's what
different.
I imagined.
I wouldn't be
when you said
mad
that.
about that. It
She's
would be
incredible in the
interesting.
show.
She is, but her chance. I mean, they have her below Millie Bobby Brown, who I do not see getting anything
Yeah.
for.
Well, that's because they had her originally in Best Actress, and I think they just recently
Oh.
moved her over to supporting.
But she is, she's won Emmys and she has an Oscar. So, or does she have 2 Oscars?
Yeah.
She's
never
got
know.
one.
So I'm,
She's really good.
Can I suggest we end on something kind of
Yes.
like, what would be your ultimate wish? What a nomination in the drama categories that you just really, really want to happen? Maybe it's not going to happen, but you think that you want to bring some attention to.
I already know mine if I want to go first. So, Britt Lauer for Succession. I think there's no chance that she gets in, even though I have her, just because she's a no-name. But she was easily my favorite character on that show and my favorite performance. And I think it's a breakout kind of role. So I would love for her to be nominated.
I'm still thinking. Someone
Yeah.
else can go. What?
Antony?
Or do you not know Antony?
I mean, I do. I just.
Oh,
I
go
know.
for it. Yeah, I'm still thinking.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, there were so many good dramas, I think, this year. And I think what's hard about it is like trying to get into them if they've already gone on for so long. So I definitely understand that for some people it's hard to get into some of these shows. But I will say that I think that if Impeachment American Crime Story is not a limited series, I think is it a drama?
It's a limited series.
It's
It
limited.
shouldn't get anything.
Oh, I don't think it's going to get nominated for anything.
I don't think it's going to get nominated for anything, but I think Sarah Paulson's work, it might be my favorite Sarah Paulson performance. And I'm going to put it here because, hey, American Crime Story.
Have you only ever seen one Sarah Paulson performance?
It was fair. Hey, this is about personal picks. I'm not going to critique your pick, whatever it happens to be.
Wait, but you have seen The People versus OJ, right?
Yes. I think as far as a performance that she's given, I did not think that she could emotionally move me in that way. When she's watching John Goodman make fun of her on SNL, that one look, I was very impressed with her performance. It was a very committed performance, and I think that whole show was only in her hands. If she wasn't in it, it would have been a complete travesty. I think Ben already thinks it's a complete travesty. But I don't know. For me, I would love if Sarah Paulson got a nomination. And I don't know if it's a limited or drama. The rule, as we just did with 9 Perfect Strangers, the rules keep changing every year.
Yeah. Obi-Wan Kenobi is nowhere to be seen in any category on Gold Derby.
Exactly.
I will be pushing for Ewan McGregor and that show and wherever it shows up. So
Like The White Lotus, is that limited or is that
that's
drama?
limited. Yeah.
Exactly, but isn't that getting a season 2? This is the
It
crazy,
is. Yeah.
whatever.
Because it's changing the entire cast, except for I think 2 people that will occasionally appear.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Do you know yours, Ben?
No. No, I do not.
You don't have like a not. I actually I should have thought about this. I would say Pachinko and Best Drama. I don't see it having a shot. But it was a really fantastic show. And it's just, I think it's beautiful. It's gorgeous. And I think the writing and I do.
Apple
I
is
love that
killing
show.
it.
They really are. They just don't have the budget to like market it. And I feel like once something takes off, that's where they put, which I get, that's where they're going to put all their money. So, but that would be my one like wish. Yeah.
Okay, this isn't a performance that I want to see nominated. I would just love to see this actress elevated. So Jasmine Savoy Brown.
I'm not mad with that, Ben, because I love her performance. I think next year a lot of the women from Yellow Jackets will most likely be in supporting. But I think right now, I think their big focus is on the adult actresses.
Yeah. No, 100%. She was my favorite part of Scream. She was the best part of Scream, hands down. And she's just very, very charming. I want to see her succeed. So I'll just say her because I can't think of literally anything else.
I'm going to give you a horror film to watch with her in it.
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
One final thing, as I mentioned earlier, Outer Range deserves to be nominated for a drama series, but It's not gonna happen.
Wait, you just took a second one?
I did
or
do a
wait.
second one.
Oh.
Why not? You can do a second one if you want to.
No,
Something.
that would.
I just wanted to shout it out.
I'll say Janet McTeer 2 years ago for Ozark. Should have got supporting
If we're doing post, Tom
I'm
Humphrey
not.
better
No,
do
That's a
I'm
whole
not
other
going
episode.
that. No. You know what? If we're gonna go something like that, then if you got a second one, I would, and I know it has no shot in hell, but it's just awesome. Again, I still watch network television, but it would be really cool if Law and Order got something. It wouldn't. No way in hell. I don't think it's ever won best drama for anything, and I think only maybe 2 or 3 actor or actresses have won in a lead, but they've won a ton of like guest stars. But they've also had a ton of Oscar-winning guest stars. So
yeah.
They're fine. They'll be okay.
I mean, I haven't seen the season yet, but I always think Winona Ryder is just so wonderful, and I love her.
Yes.
And I really hope that now that, I mean, we've seen in the trailers that she meets up with Popper again, but I really hope she gets to take the reins, and I hope by the final season she gets like a really great episode to maybe get in contention for that. But I love her.
The fact that she
so
wasn't
much.
nominated for the first season is just insane. She's the best performance by
Because
far.
they put Millie Bobby Brown in supporting. I'm telling you, put Millie in lead, and then Winona can be in supporting. Because another performance, Maya Hawke in the 3rd season, I thought was so deserving for that bathroom monologue. But again, if you're putting Millie in supporting, that's what's going to happen. They're going to have to change that eventually. I feel
they will.
Anyways.
So yeah, those are our thoughts on the drama series at the upcoming Emmys. You can stick around in upcoming weeks for our thoughts on limited series, comedy series, all that is to come. And yeah, whenever the Oscars start up again, we'll be talking about that stuff. So yeah, any plugs anyone at the end wants to mention?
Yutaka.
Oh yeah, that would be me, right? Yeah, because Ben's not on it, so they still think you're dead. We have.
I passed away when I cut my hair.
Yeah, we have a horror podcast YouTube channel that we get really lucky, and we get to interview people, review some things, and we just have a fun time. We have a good time. That's really what it's about.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Good times.
Link will be down below. And Antony, you also have a channel.
Yes, I do. Spoilers ahead with Antony Post. Come check me out on YouTube. Going to be attempting, once I finish up Moon Knight, all 35 chapters of the MCU ranked. I didn't get a single dislike on my Pixar ranked video, which was surprising. Wow. Given that Toy Story 3 was my least favorite Toy Story. I thought that was going to get me like 5 dislikes, but it didn't.
You're totally correct.
No, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
as long as The Incredibles was in the top 3.
Incredibles was in the top 3. I think it was 4. My top 3 is Finding Nemo, Inside Out, WALL-E, The Incredibles.
Oh no!
Oh no! I like Finding Nemo.
Let me hurry up and go just like that. No,
So I'm going to be doing that on my channel. Stranger Things, of course, season 4. I'll be doing a spoiler review for. So yeah, come check me out. And yeah, I'm on Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd. You can find me there at Antony_Post.
Cool. Yep. So like, comment, subscribe, comment your predictions down below, and we will see you next time.